Is there anyone who wants maybe to volunteer themselves? So they can quickly go through what we discussed the last time. Sharing. Does anyone remember what we spoke about last time? Obviously, there's a clue. We spoke about business units, teams, users, and a bit on security roles.
Yes, we did.
Does anyone remember what a security role is, or why do we use security roles?
We use security roles for access control and permissions.
Fantastic. And business units?
Um,
Does anyone remember what we use business units for, or what does the business units in Dynamics 365 are used for? What are they used for?
I think business unit is used to create sub teams within the organization, and as well as roles and users within organization.
Yeah, so I would say business units, these are containers that we use to segregate, the business structure or the team structure within an organization. So you could have a business that has, various departments like marketing, finance, maybe accounts, and so on and so forth. And you can use business units to segregate how people or how the system is going to be structured by putting people in various business units, and you can do it in a hierarchical model, which mimics, the structure of that particular organization. To some extent, I'll probably say, they offer security boundaries for users and teams, for allowing access and privileges to the data that's within the organization. And if an organization is structured, around departments or around divisions that have maybe separate products or customers, or things like that, you may want to create business units to mimic the organization's structure, and they define the scope in which security rules are applied. So I think like we discussed the other time, for people in different business units, they will still need security roles, but those security roles, they work in those particular business units. And if, for instance, you were to move someone from one business unit to the next, that means that person automatically at that point in time, they lose all their security roles. So once you move them to the next business unit, you then have to apply new security roles for that particular business unit, else they will not be able to access the system. And with business units, security roles, users, are linked together in a way that conforms to the role-based security models. And if you use business units together with security roles, you then control how people access data, or you control data access, depending, on their job. And also there's one other thing that you can do. You can assign security roles at individual levels, or you can assign security roles at team level as well, which we'll probably see a little bit later on when we dive into the system. So conscious of the fact that we discussed issues, or things around security. Is there anyone with any questions around security so far, or Dynamics 365 security?
Can I ask a question, Dan?
Sure, go ahead.
So you mentioned something now about someone who works in a certain business unit, and the business unit is being changed to another. Is it not possible for one person, say for instance, a tester, to work for two different business units who's the same person doing the work? Can they not have both business units in their permissions and have the same security rules from each of those business units added to their permission profile?
So I would say the first part of my answer would be, when you assign someone to a business unit, you will notice that you can only assign someone to a single business unit, not two business units.
Yeah, I know.
That's number one. So what you can do is, if you are using a hierarchical security model, you can place someone, in the parent business unit. So if someone is within a parent business unit, they'll be able to see things within business units that are, below that parent business unit. So the child business units, they'll be able to see information in there.
Okay.
But then it depends, with how an organization is structured, because at times you have, an organization where you say right at the top, we are only wanting to have senior management and no one else, because you want senior management to be able to see, across the business units, but you don't want, anyone below senior management to be able to do that. Because, for instance, if you put a tester in the parent business unit, then they are able to see everything that's happening, in the other business units. So it might not be the ideal way of doing it, but it also depends, with the particular use case. But I think the long and short of it is, one, with business units, you can only assign one person, a person to one business unit. That's number one. But number two, you can use that hierarchical model, where you then have someone residing in the parent business unit, and then they'll be able to see what's happening in the child business units. I don't know if that answers your question.
I have a question.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Did you just say, I'm not sure if I missed it, that the child business, someone in the child business unit can look up? Will be able to have access to what's above it or not?
Ideally, you would probably want it to be the other way around.
Okay, maybe I just missed something you said.
Sorry?
I said, maybe I just missed something you said. I thought I heard something like that.
Yeah, ideally you want someone to be able to see from the top downwards,
down, yeah,
not the other way
okay.
up.
Okay, but if you do, just like you said, if you move across teams, so for you to be able to have access, you need to be placed in a parent, another place, like in the hierarchical model. Would you need to be in a parent team then, or is not, or it's just not possible to be in two teams at all?
No, it's certainly not possible. Teams, you can be in two teams, but you can't be in two separate business units.
Okay.
Remember, we've got a business unit, and within that business unit, we've got teams in there.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So let's say, for instance, we are talking a finance business unit. And within finance, you've got auditing, you've got maybe the ledger team, and you've got maybe accounting and so on and so forth. If there's need be for one to be in multiple teams, then yes, you can do that and put people within multiple teams, but they are within that same business unit.
Okay, gotcha.
Hi, Dan.
Hi there.
Hi, it's Mary here. Looking at the security roles, I think if you can explain that again, because I'm looking at it in terms of creating security based on individual roles or based on people's roles. You know, that's the way I understand security roles. So you assign security to roles of people. So, but it looks like that is different in this particular case. Do you want to explain it again, please?
Okay, so with security roles, what happens with security roles is it's a way of making sure that you know, you give privileges to people or to your users, and these are different types of privileges. So it could be a privilege, you know, to get someone to you know, be able to modify something or to create something or to delete or to amend something.
Yes.
So those could be you know, the privileges that you give someone, but it's all based on the type of work that they do.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I got it then. Exactly. That was why. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. That's
no
fine.
problem. Anyone else with a question? If not, then maybe we might dive in. So last time we had an assignment that we had. So I don't know, is there any volunteers who would want to share their screen and show us what they've done? We had
I can try.
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you very much. So I think whilst you're sharing your screen, the assignment was to, one, create a business unit, and then the second thing was to make sure that the business unit will be a child of you know, our parent business unit, which is org OBF 667E2, and then we'll need to create or add 2 new teams into the business units. Number 4 was to have at least 1 team member into the teams. We'll then create a security role, add permissions to create, read, write, routing rule sets, add permissions to create, read, write, delete an option set, and assign a security role to the users or a team. So yeah, take it away.
Okay. So in here, I managed to create this Omega A IT department. And if I open it up, and I think I have 2 teams created in here. The first one is Omega A Data and Analytics, and the second is Digital Team. So if I open the Data and Analytics, I've managed to add two team members. I had the hashtag DAMS and yourself to it. So I was unable to add. Okay, let me just go to the security rules now. Actually, right. So I created a security role under Omega A, and it's called new user trainer or training or something. Yeah, this is the one that was created. So how do I go into it now? I can't remember. Okay, I think on the legacy app, it was easier to quickly get into it.
Yeah, if that's easier, go for it.
Yeah, so you said to create, I think it was inside service management, routine rule set. The person's got to create, read and write routine rule set. And the second one was to create, read, write and delete option set, which are these ones. And so that's been created. Is there anything else you want to see?
I think the other thing was, the last thing was to add the security role to a user.
Right. So I think I tried to add you to, I was able to add you successfully to one, but then the hashtag DAMS, I couldn't add.
Okay.
Yes. So that was all I did.
Okay. We will not comment for now. Anyone else who attempted this?
I did attempt, but I've just found probably I missed something adding the team members, because I couldn't assign the security role because just like it gave you that warning, no permission. It just kept saying no. I've got no permission.
Okay.
To be able to add user.
Okay. Is it possible maybe you can just walk us through what you did?
Let me try.
Dan, I couldn't add users as well, so I used I added existing users.
Okay, no problem.
This is testing 2. And yeah, I was able to create that. Testing 2. Oops. And the parent business unit. These 2 teams. And yeah, I just realized probably did not add any team members. Yeah. Because she did, I didn't add any team.
Okay.
Yeah. And yes, for the security.
For the security roles.
The security role. Sorry, I can't remember the name of it.
Okay. Okay, not to worry if you can't find the security role. I think you've got the hang of it. Anyone else? The last person? Anyone else who attempted this? Okay. So if no one else attempted, fair enough, we'll just go with what Busola and Mary did. If we go back to Busola, would you like to share your screen, please?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So when we go to the people that you've put in there, you've put myself and dams in there.
Yeah.
It's fair enough. But just to conscientize you, I think like I said earlier on, if you move someone from one business unit to the next, what then happens is that person loses all the security roles that they had.
Yeah, that's why I was asking those questions.
Yeah, so I struggled this evening when I was wanting to jump on because I did not have access to the system. So I had to ring Alex to try and get him to, give me another security, to give me a security role, so at least I can access the system. So
I'm so
I think
sorry. I
that's
didn't know what I was doing.
That's fine. That's fine. It's all learning, and I think if you make these mistakes, then at times that's how we learn. Because if everything is hunky dory, chances of you learning more, are a bit slim. So I'm quite happy, with people, maybe breaking something, and that's the only way we learn some of these things. So yes, if you move someone around, what then happens is if you move them from one business unit to the next, the minute they land into the next business unit, all the security rules that they have will be stripped away. So they will not have any security rules. So once you move them into a different team or business unit rather, you then need to give them new permissions from that business unit, which will allow them to be able to access the system. Because you might have that request where someone is moving from one team, maybe they were working in marketing, but they are now working in finance. So you move them from the marketing business to finance, and from your side you think everything is okay because you can see that they're in the business unit, but as soon as you do that, they might struggle to get onto the system, because as soon as you move someone, all the security roles are stripped away. So you would then need to make sure that you reassign them new security roles. So I think that's the only thing that I just wanted to probably say regarding that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I quickly ask, do they immediately automatically inherit the new security roles in the new team, or do they need to be assigned?
So when you move them from one business unit to the next, as soon as they land in the new business unit, all the security roles that they had from the previous business unit are stripped away. So as soon as they land in there, they don't have a security role to start off with.
Okay, so they don't automatically inherit the new.
No.
Okay.
So you need to give them new security roles from that business unit.
Okay.
So it's a two-step process. One, you move them into a business unit, and then the second step will be to add new security roles.
And it cannot be like automated to say if anybody.
Usually these are things that you do, manually, because it's just a simple two-step process. And automating it, you can automate it, but I think what you can automate is, for instance, we have our people in Azure. So the way you can automate it is you create your security groups in Azure. And once you add someone into a security group, you can then have, something that runs in the background to say, once they get into that security group, they then get pushed into Dynamics, which is done automatically anyway. But as soon as they land into a business unit, maybe you give them just a basic security role. Because you can imagine people that you are moving from one business unit to the other, they've got different and varying security roles. You don't usually just assign someone, or everyone in the team, the same security role. And I'm sure you've noticed the amount of security roles that we have. And trying to automate that, it will be difficult. How will it, know which security role to give them or what permissions to give them? You see where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you can get them maybe just to get the basic right. That gives them access to CRM, which is the basic user role.
Mm-hmm.
But then from there, you then need to manually give them, extra permissions for them to be able to do the specific thing that they do on a day-to-day basis. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, it
Okay.
does.
Okay, fantastic. Anyone else with any questions?
Hi, Dan.
Hi there.
So, does it mean people can be in the same business unit, but they have different security roles?
Indeed.
Okay.
So maybe what I might do, let me see if I can share my screen at this point, and maybe I can demonstrate this to everyone. So let me know when you can see my screen.
You can see.
Okay, fantastic. I'm just going to quickly dive in through the old interface. So security. So maybe let me go into Teams, see if we have any particular team. Okay. So if I probably go into finance. We don't have any people in here. Let's see if I can find them. Okay, so we've got this one here. Random. I think I'll probably go with Busola. Which business unit did you create?
It's called Omega A.
Okay.
IT department here.
Okay. This one here.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. And I suppose you put people in this team here. Was it Omega 8 Data and Analytics?
Yes, I put people in both, actually.
Okay. Okay. So in this case, let's quickly look at these two team members. So this is myself. Okay. And I'm in 3 teams that I've been added into. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay. So if you notice, this is the security role that I have in the system. And I'm in the same team as, I think it's DEMS. And I should probably imagine have a different security role. No. I can't remember the name now. Is it DEMS?
Yes, hashtag done.
This one, yeah. If you notice, they, like I was saying, they were in one business unit, they've been moved to a separate business unit. Remember, they've been moved from the parent business unit, right? And I think, was it Busola, you moved them into Omega IT department?
Yes, I did.
Yes. So if you notice now, if we go on to their security roles, notice they have got no security role because you move them from one team to the next. So if we, for argument's sake, give them, a basic role, say we give them basic role, it will probably whinge. Yeah, it will probably whinge. But because they've been moved to a different business unit, all the security roles have been stripped off. But you could have people in different teams. Let me just select someone else from the parent business unit. And just to conscientize you, these are the things that you probably need to pay particular attention to, because chances those are the things that you'll be tasked with in your early days in any role.
Dan, but
Yeah.
you could, I thought, where you were just now, the page you were just now, that
Yeah.
was where I changed from the parent to like a child
Business unit.
Yes.
Okay,
So and then I only just searched for it and it came up and I chose it.
Okay, bear with me 1 second. Let this load up and then we'll go back there again. So here, where do you want me to go now?
Users.
Users, yep. Enabled users, and I think it's items. This one here.
Yes.
Yep.
So from the business units here, where you have organization information, I only just typed in ORG in the search button, and then it came out, and then I chose it. I changed it to Omega A. Yeah. And then I saved also.
It will probably winch because we still got these teams attached.
Oh, okay.
Hence, it's giving us this. So it says an error is occurred. If we download the error, let's see what it says. Cannot update current component, the user, the Microsoft Manage for details, position detail, cannot a current component. Yeah. It's not allowing us to change this component. But yeah, it can be done. I'll look for ways to change that. Let's see if we remove stems. Yeah, probably will not want any of that. So if I save, it's not enough. Let's only remove one. Okay. I think I know what we need to do. Might need to put them in a team first. Will it allow us? Yeah, for some reason it doesn't want to know. That's fine. And we change that. Yeah, it's probably just going to winch. But if I remove this first, then it doesn't want to know. Yeah, I'll check why it's not wanting us to change these business units. But really and truly, you should be able to just change the business unit here. Because if you notice, it's got an error, it wouldn't even allow us to save it as it is. But I'll check, I've got the error log, I'll see what is stopping us from doing that. But essentially, all you need to do is you change the business unit here and you add the new team here as well, and then you save it, and all should be good to go. But as I was saying, if people are in the same in the same event team, they can have different security roles. So if I go to our users, I know we've got a bunch of users that are already in the enabled users. I'll use these ones here. So let me pick number 10. So this is user number 10. If we go into their role, there should be a specific role that they've been assigned. And I don't know why they don't have it. Busola, what account are you using? If you don't mind me.
I think 2. Blue Sky 2. Yeah.
Okay, let me check. Because that other one doesn't have a security role. I don't know why. No, I think I know what maybe Alex has done. He's probably put the team level. Yeah. So what Alex has done is put the security role at team level. Remember earlier on, I was saying you could put security roles at user level or directly at team level. So those are two ways that you can do that. So if you add someone into a team and you've already got security roles against that team, what effectively happens is they inherit the team specific privileges, which is what's happening with I think all these roles that you guys are using at present, or these accounts rather that you guys are using at the present moment. So I'll check this one as well. Let's see what is put in this. Yeah. Yeah. So if you notice on this team here, which is the team that is underlining or the default team for the business unit, there is no security roles at will. A reason being Alex doesn't want anyone to inherit any roles from that team. So that's why he's added everyone into the new Blue Sky team. And in the new Blue Sky team, that's where everyone is inheriting their permissions from. Does that make sense?
But the Blue Sky team, they don't have any security role assigned to them. They only inherit from the old business unit.
Sorry, your line is sort of like breaking up. Would you like to come again with your question?
It seems like the Blue Sky team is inheriting security role from the business unit, which is the old.
So the security, what is done, you put a security role against a team or against a user. So what has been done here is the security roles have been put against the team. So if you add anyone into that team, you don't need to give them a new security role. What they are simply doing is they are inheriting from that team. Is that making sense? Mm-hmm. And if you were to move someone from one business unit to the other business unit, the minute you move them to another business unit, like I was saying, they lose all their permissions. But if you then add them to that particular team, which is already got security roles assigned to them, then they automatically inherit those security permissions from that team. So everyone within that team will then have, that standard security permissions. And then if anyone then needs to be given, elevated permissions, you can then do them on their personal account vis-a-vis the team. So everyone within the team being able to do, things that are quite similar, being able to access, similar parts of the system, perform, similar functions, as anyone else within the team. But maybe you might have a supervisor within that team, or you might have a manager within that team. So those managers now within the team, you can give them elevated permissions. So if I go to let me use one of these. So I'll use 10.
So ideally, when you are creating that security role, you're able to choose, because I can see it now. I wasn't sure which one to give when I was creating my security role. So you can choose either team privilege only or direct user basic access level and team privilege.
Yes. So
but he has configured it for us not to, because it says here inherited roles cannot be updated or modified.
Yes. So like I was saying, we've got roles that are inherited from the parent business unit. So if someone within the child business unit gets an inherited role, say you are using the hierarchical model, where the role that they have is inherited from the parent business unit, you can't then say to that person who's inherited that role, you want to alter that security role, to shift it, to do something slightly different, because it's something which is inherited. They have to sort of like accept it as it is. They can't make changes to it, or you can't make changes to it. Vis-a-vis if it was a direct security role that you've gotten from your business unit. So here, for argument's sake, we can see that we've got user 10 who's in the Blue Sky team, and that's where they're inheriting their security role from. And so if we go into that team now, if we check the security role that's against the team, you will notice they're inheriting the system administrator role, which has been assigned to the team, not to them directly. Okay. But however, if they do, other things as well, which are probably elevated, you can still give them, the extra permissions. So maybe you want them, to be able, to have, let me see, to have access, to Focus Manager. All you need to do is you can give them elevated or extra permissions from here, but you are now doing this against their record, vis-a-vis against the team. Because if you do it against the team, then that means everyone in that team would have that elevated permission. I'll cancel. I don't want to give them an extra permissions. So if I then go back to that security role creation, you were saying that when you create a new security role,
yes. What did it mean? Yes, just this. So members privilege inheritance.
So if I just say test, and here the privileges, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, so for this one, you are going with the team privileges, and these are the roles that you give, to your teams.
Mm-hmm.
Say we are creating a role that we only want to give the team, and everyone inherits their permissions from the team. Then you select that. But if you want to have, privileges that you give access to a direct user access level and team privileges, then you select this one. So the second one does both, but the first one only does the privileges for the team at large.
Can you give us an example?
Sorry, you
like a scenario.
Sorry?
Can you give us like a scenario just to like?
A scenario could easily be you have, the marketing team, and you've got marketing officers within the team, and you've got 10 marketing officers, that come and go all the time, right? And or maybe, even at peak times, Christmas time, you might hire, extra staff into your marketing department or your sales, team. So you hire extra sales officers, to sell merchandise or to sell whatever it is that they do. But you don't want to be adding and removing roles, to each and every person as they come in and go and come in and go. And, with certain teams, there is at times, a high staff turnover. So at that point, you might then decide, okay, based on our use case, we might just need to put the permissions at team level. So all you are simply doing is when someone comes in and joins the business, you only add them into the team. Once you add them into the team, they've got access to do what everyone else in the team does. So this could be your salespeople, or this could be your marketing people. So they've already got access to do what everyone else does within the team. They are salespeople. But for direct users, these could be people, that do maybe specialized things, not what everyone else does. So it could be, maybe at supervisor level. And the supervisor, obviously, will probably be doing what everyone does, but maybe they've got access, maybe to create reports, or maybe to amend records, or even to delete records, whatever the case may be. So those are the two scenarios, where you can create differing security roles. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else with any other question? So I think with the concept of security roles, these help to secure who accesses what within your system. Remember, there are certain parts of the system where there is maybe sensitive data. It could be financial, information, or it could be someone's medical information. So in order to be able to make sure that people do not access that sensitive data or sensitive parts of the system, you then use this concept of security roles, and it's quite, I don't know how to stress it. This is something which is very key, because if you mess it up at security role level in the system, then anyone in the system can, pretty much just go in and do whatever they want. They can even, just delete things in the system. And if you don't have any auditing enabled within the system, then chances are you would not know who's done what in the system. So it's always best, when you do these things, these are the sort of things where you need to, sit down and think carefully about what the organization is trying to achieve. So at least you give people the right permissions. It's more or less like giving someone keys, to a bank. Everyone who works in the bank, is not given access, maybe to the vault. They wouldn't have, maybe the codes or the keys to the vault. So depending on what they do, you only give them access to that particular area, or to perform certain actions. Else, if you do that, then you might be creating a huge disaster. Okay, so let me just double check to see if there's anything else that we needed to discuss around security. So we've done security roles, we've done teams, we've done users. And as I was also saying earlier on, when it comes to to security, you can either do it at user level or at team level. So you put someone in a team and they inherit everything from the team rather than directly on their account. And I don't know if you noticed, if you go into the security role, there is quite a lot in there. So depending on what you are trying to achieve, you have to make sure that you go into all these tabs and make sure that you pick the right permissions that you want to give. And then you just select what it is that you think that person should be able to do. I'll probably say that's about it in terms of security. So let me look at our time. We've got 45 minutes. The other thing that I was wanting us to maybe look at next was to look at creating apps. So we've got different types of apps. Does anyone know what types of apps are used within D365 or Power Platform?
Hubs.
Yeah, that's the parent name, but there's two specific types of apps that are used within Power Apps. So we've got Canvas apps. Has anyone heard about Canvas apps?
Yes.
Okay, good. Bear with me. I don't want to go there. Why is it taking me? Okay, this fantastic. Does anyone know what a Canvas app is? So I think the first thing is we've got two types of apps. We've got model-driven apps, and then we've got Canvas apps. And they do different things, or they're there for two different things. So for model-driven apps, this is an app design that is used or focuses on adding components, such as forms, your views, your charts, your dashboards, tables, in a tool called an app designer tool. And this you can do pretty much without writing much code, or at times with no code at all. You can build your simple app, or you can even build very complex apps. And with model-driven apps, these are especially used for processes, that requires, a lot of data, and they make it easy for the users, to move related records. So, you could be using this, to create, complex or to manage complex, processes within an organization. And where with model-driven apps as well, when it comes to the data modeling, this is because without the data, which is housed, already within Microsoft Dynamics, you then cannot create the app. This is why they are called, model-driven apps. And it's based on the data model, which is already existing within Microsoft or Dataverse. And then the other type of app is the Canvas app, which is used to design and build apps, from the canvas. And also you can do this without writing, much code at all. Or you can do, a little bit of code in there. And the beauty of it, it gives you the capabilities, to just, drag stuff onto your form. And maybe you then do just a few enhancements or a few changes, and before you know it, you've already got an app to work with. And with these apps, one thing that you can do as well is remember, I think we discussed this right at the beginning, that with Power Apps, it comes with so many data connections. So you could be pulling the data from various places. You could even be pulling, your data to the app, maybe from a SharePoint list, or even from an Excel template, or even from a SQL database. So you can pull the data from so many places. So if I quickly go in there, for one to be able to create, an app, this is where you come in, and then you either create, your Canvas app or your model-driven app, or you can create, your website, which is your Power Pages. And with Power Pages, this is essentially, your portal. But with time, we'll probably go into each and every one of these, so at least we can get a bit more in depth stuff regarding that. And one thing that you can do, with creating Canvas apps is you just need to look.
Sorry, Dan. One question. Yeah. The Canvas app, is that the mobile one, or what's the difference between the Canva and the website?
The website is essentially your Power Pages, which is your portal. When you want, and portals, essentially you use your portals when say you've got maybe external people from the organization, but you somehow want them to interact with your data within Dynamics.
So that one is the client-facing site, right? That the user can use, right?
Exactly.
Because Dynamics is only you have to log in for you to be able to use Dynamics. But this one is kind of like these are. But which one is the Canvas one?
The Canvas app, it's more like a model-driven app, but what it is, it's you use it, for maybe complex things, and majority of the time you're not pulling the data from a database straight out of database. So you could be pulling the data from, another application, like your SharePoint list, which is not inside Dynamics, or from a SQL database, which is not inside database.
Okay. Are you able to show us in operation how this is done, maybe in a few minutes? You can create a simple website or simple Canvas app.
With the website, that could be tricky because at times, it runs, as it creates stuff in the background. So I think for the purposes of this, what I can quickly do is just quickly show you a canvas, maybe, or a model. But next session, what we'll then do is I've got an exercise to create something from scratch. Or even do, maybe just a little quiz where we have a quiz and, you start from beginning until the end, and then if you score whatever you score, or we can even create like an inventory management system, in an organization. So you could have let's say, for argument's sake, the IT team, and the IT team, maybe the infrastructure team is responsible, for giving new joiners, equipment to use. That could be your laptops, it could be your screens, it could be mice.
I would say a simple application form would be okay, right? A read-only web page, right? That you got information there, and also like click here to kind of register, or click here to submit inventory, which is going to be a form, right? And that should be sufficient, actually.
Yeah, we can create something. That's not a problem.
Okay. Is it okay? Are you saying we'll do that next Friday?
I want us to do it next Friday, because what I want us to do is to go through all the series of steps that we need to do. Because if I do it and we stop halfway, come next Friday, people might not understand, what we did.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. But however, if we start now, we will kind of water the appetite actually to see that, okay, this is really, really good. So then you see a lot of people turning off next week actually to see the end of it. But I get your point. When you come back next week, you might have to start all over again because some people are not here. But sometimes having to start a little, then some people can go away and try, and then to come with your question. Even if it's just 5 minutes to say, okay, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do, then next week you can start all over. That would be good.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, like I said today, what I would do is probably just a taster of what we are going to be doing.
That is the word. Yeah.
So at least before and have an insight of the capabilities or what things could be done using the apps. So I'll probably start with that one. So essentially, when you
sorry, Dan, sorry to drag you back.
Sure.
So if you want to do a mobile app now, it's going to be totally different, right? Or is it going to be the same journey?
It's going to be pretty much the same journey, and I'll probably say if it's a mobile app, maybe just to do certain things, and you're not pulling the data from Dynamics, I'll probably say you go with the Canvas app.
Oh, okay.
So if you go with the Canvas app, all you need to do
okay. So you have to select the format here.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's go with this. Yeah. This should. Yeah.
So at first instance, what happens is let me just quickly go back. If you click on here, you've got the three options. Whether you want to select your Canvas, your model driven, or your web.
Hold on, Dan.